Lopez manages an organic bakery, so he's pretty picky about where he dines out. But he says there's one place in the heart of the city that time after time never lets him down. It's on Halsted, and it's called Timo.
We opened a restaurant called Time, French-American, about 10 years ago. Had a great run. Had the opportunity to travel Italy 2 years ago. Went through the Tuscan countryside. It was wonderful. Came back and said, you know what? It's time to make a change. So Timo means time in Italian. So we reconcepted about a year and a half. We're pretty much doing Northern Italian, prosciuttos, risottos, homemade raviolis, medium-priced, great Italian wines. Timo's my take on Northern Italian food from my travels and experiences and reading. And a lot of fun, much more casual. I've always been in the business, and I really love doing it. The open kitchen gives you an opportunity to really meet the guests and really get to know and understand what they need, what they like, and how they're feeling. Because a lot of people come, have had a bad day at work, they see the chef, open kitchen, how you doing, chef? Hey, everything's good, what's going on? And you strike up a nice conversation, and you really get to know your customers. It's a true urban oasis. We have about 130 seats on the patio. You can't see it from the outside, and when you're on the patio, you really don't feel like you're in the city. It's got ivy, it's got Italian white Christmas lights, it's lush, it's green, it's really beautiful. I want you to feel like you're at your friend's house having a nice casual dinner, because that's what it's about. It's not stuffy, you don't have to have a jacket. We're business casual, and we want you to have fun when you come.
So Seth, you say that Timo is always special. Tell us why you chose it.
I like Timo for a lot of reasons. It's in a very kind of isolated part of the city, and yet when you walk in there, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. The bar is gorgeous. Move your left, there's a larger dining room, and of course they have a beautiful outdoor patio. And you feel like you're not even in Chicago anymore once you're inside that restaurant. And John does a great job of trying to find organic ingredients for his restaurant when he can, and I've always felt that the food was fantastic.
We felt that it was pretty good, but we were glad we experienced it, but we weren't necessarily sure if we would want to go back. We felt that the appetizers were great. We had an issue with some of the entrees, and the dessert was spot on. We ordered an appetizer each, and we usually tend to do family style for our appetizers where we'll both share. So we ordered the tomato mozzarella and the rabbit ragu, which was a special. And what I really liked that they did was that they coursed them out for us. First, they sent out the rabbit ragu with 2 separate plates, and we served each other. And then when our tomato mozzarella came out, it was in separate portions, and it was placed as a salad course, which I really, really liked that they took the initiative to do that. My husband had the spit roasted. They do a lot of spit roasting, which I thought was very interesting. And he had the spit roasted risotto, which was done very, very well. The risotto was cooked perfectly, a little under seasoned, but for the most part, I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous and it was not breaking. And then I ordered the salmon, and the salmon was just, it may have just been the quality of the salmon, maybe an off day, but I ordered medium rare and it came out pretty well.
Did they try to fix the problem for you?
They did. I really didn't want, at that point I was so full that I was just happy to pick at all the plates, and my plate kind of just got kind of abruptly taken away and sent back, and then I got a raw piece. So it would have just been better if the issue had just been kind of let go as I had originally kind of intended it to be.
I had a very similar experience to Sarah's. I thought, I mean, I would definitely go back there again. I really enjoyed the space. The outdoor space was great. Probably, in fact, it's the best one I could think of in Chicago for that sort of dining. I mean, for that alone, I would return. It was excellent. Appetizers, they hit on all 3 of them. I had the Parmesan shrimp, at the server's recommendation, I had the Parmesan shrimp, but I also had the Italian sausage and asparagus risotto, which was great. It wasn't gloppy and it wasn't soupy, and it was just cooked to the perfect consistency. And I really thought the risotto was just bang on. And then I had the pork, spit roasted pork with the potatoes and so some bacon and some carrots on there. I thought the spit roasted pork was actually it was a little bit overdone. I could have said something. But I was enjoying the space so much, I didn't want to bother them. Yeah. It was a forgivable sin for me.
So Seth, looks like Sarah and Peter had some inconsistencies in their meal. Have you ever experienced that?
I don't think I have, but I'm very biased when it comes to Timo. I've had all of the risottos as well, and I've always also appreciated the portion size. I think his portions, regardless of whether you're having appetizers or you're having an entree or even desserts, are just right on. I also we've had his tilapia, we've had his salmon. I've never had an undercooked or overcooked salmon, and his duck always seems to be great. I also really liked his prosciutto and melon. which come with those sticks. And I thought everything was really fresh and great. I love prosciutto.
Sarah, did you feel that this experience, did you get what you paid for?
I felt that it was overpriced for what we had received. I'm very glad that I experienced it, but there will always be another restaurant that will have something that will offer that's a little bit more unique and a little bit more maybe perhaps what I'm looking for. And it just seems that in a restaurant industry such as Chicago, where you really do need to have that unique quality and a really wonderful unique space and unique experience, that there will always be something that may be a little bit better.
Now, Seth, you've been going to the restaurant for a very long time, and that's what it used to be called.
Yes, it used to be called Time.
But you're a big fan of John Babali. So he's very chatty, energetic, really comes out and tries to connect with the customers.
John has great energy, and he's very passionate about his food, and he also goes to Italy every year and comes back with these great ideas, and he tries to infuse that passion that he has in his food. And I think that, for the most part, comes across. He spends a lot of time in his kitchen, which I really appreciate. I've been to a lot of restaurants where, the owner does come out and say hello, but John spends a lot of time in his kitchen, which I really appreciate.
So, Peter, when you first approached the restaurant, it seems like there's more than meets the eye from the outside versus what you get on the inside.
It reminded me very much kind of these European spaces, like these courtyard sort of restaurants, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. I felt like I was taken outside of Chicago for a little period of time. I mean, you heard a little traffic in the background, but you could pretend you were someplace else, and that's one of the things I really liked about Timo.
Well, Seth, you picked Timo. Give us a summary.
I like Timo because of John's passion for his food. I think he's a very creative. He's got the best risotto in the city, bar none.
Sarah?
I may need to agree on the risotto. Risotto's like curry. It's either good or bad. There's no in-between risotto, and I felt that it's a place that I experienced, but I'm not really sure if I'd recommend.
All right. Peter?
I have to go with the risotto as well. It was wonderful. Probably Chicago, or one of Chicago's best outdoor places for a meal. I think it's great. I would definitely go back there again and give it another shot and see if he does better on the entree.
All right, well, you can taste Chef John Babala's creations at Timo, 464 North Halsted, 312-226-4300. Open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Reservations are accepted, and the average tab per person without drinks is $38. All right, so on this week's show, we featured Tanoshii in Andersonville, Xni-Pec in Cicero, and Timo in River West. Let's recap what our guests had to say. First, we stopped in for sushi on Clark at Tanoshii. This was Sarah's pick for a different sushi experience with Artful Creations. Peter says if you leave Sushi Mike in charge, he'll take care of you. Seth says after his disastrous experience, he probably won't be going back. Then, we headed to Cicero to Xni-Pec. Peter recommends it for true food from the heart at affordable prices. Seth says he'd go back in a heartbeat for the great food and unpretentious atmosphere. Sarah says the chef's passion for food is evident in every bite. Finally, we went for Italian on Halsted at Timo. Seth recommends it and says Chef John's risotto is the best in town. Sarah liked the risotto, but she's not sure she'd recommend Timo to others. And Peter thinks it's one of the best places to eat outdoors in Chicago. Well, another show has come to an end here, and I'd like to thank my guests for a fabulous time. Peter Powinski, Sarah Tran, and Seth Lopez. Join us next week for 3 new guests recommending 3 of their favorite restaurants right here on Check Please. I'm N Halsted St, and I'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.